I've been looking at this outline of our track that is going to be shown right now, and I feel like it looks like a puppy. Like, over here is the head, here is the body, and over here is its tail. Congratulations! You can no longer unsee that. Anyways, welcome to our very first custom track for the African Marble Cup. We have got African here. Yes, I did call it African. Don't ask why. We have got 8 marbles here to show us the ropes of how this track goes. Let's start with Liberia, Congo, Cape Verde, and Tanzania in order. They were the top 4 marbles of our previous showcase race. And then, right behind them, we've got the Gambia, Ghana, Zambia, and South Africa. These marbles were our top auto-qualifying marbles in this race. Don't ask why there's a marble called 1 over there. I forgot to clean up on aisle bat. But moving on, we have got a showcase race to do, so let's work on that. Red lights flashing till there's 5, and we are going! We see Liberia take the lead, followed by Gambia. Congo as well, taking on Gambia actually. We see Cape Verde, they could make some strides, but they are unable to. Liberia, the Gambian Republic of the Congo, tie for first, second, and third. And now there's a very interesting tie from 4th to 7th between Cape Verde, Ghana, South Africa, and Tanzania. Zambia at 8th, and 1. We don't talk about 1. Let's move on to Liberia, Gambia, and Republic of the Congo. Republic of the Congo making some gains. The Gambia could try to follow. They are getting close, but I just don't think that overtake's happening. Liberia at 3rd, Tanzania at 4th, South Africa at 5th, Ghana at 6th, Cape Verde at 7th, and Zambia just right now finishing at 8th. We will be ending this race prematurely because we do not have automatic disqualification. Yeah. As you could tell, this track is very fast-paced. 40-second laps, 6-second variations. These elevators describe the atmosphere. Just tied. You can see the top 5 being fairly close together. Congo making some very fast turns there. And you could see Congo, the Gambia, and South Africa being really close behind. You could see them. We could see any of them be left behind at any moment. Ties it up with Liberia, but we are no longer talking about that race because we have got a race to do, and that is our last chance qualifiers. 46 marbles remain and 36 slots. We have 10 marbles. We'll unfortunately find that they will not be the ones making it to the African Marble Cups group stage. Let's just take a look at this blade of grass, shall we? It looks nice. And we are back. Let's just have an atmospheric look at this patch of grass. Oh, right, we have a race to do. Okay, let's get on to that. We have got 50 marbles here. They are going to race. Wait, why do we only have 50? Why do we have 50? We shouldn't have 50. Please hold. We're gonna take some marbles and shoot them. I shuffled all of the marbles and I don't think this is the order that they should be in. I'm sure it's going to be fine as we start this 10-lap journey. We did debate on making it shorter for the last chance qualifiers, but this track is just so fast. We didn't think about doing it at all. Anyways, without further ado, let's get this show on the road. Let's take an overview on the 46 marbles here as they go, go, go. Let's see who has the lead thus far. It's Senegal, Equatorial Guinea, Mali. Wow, they are just piling in. We've got 2, 3, 4. No, they aren't allowed to touch those, I guess. We have got 3, 4 filled rows here. That is just really a testament to what you're seeing here. You're gonna be seeing our marbles here. Oh, we only have 8 laps. That is crazy. I thought we were supposed to have 10. Botswana, Algeria, Zimbabwe, and Malawi. These are the marbles. Some of the marbles that we could see not have a chance here. Let's see. South Sudan is also one. Egypt is interesting. So is Ethiopia. Sao Tome and Principe. Weren't they doing good on our last race? Now let's take an overview here. Once again at the elevator. Chad, Zimbabwe is one. Egypt is another. Sao Tome and Principe, Western Sahara. Algeria, Botswana, Malawi, South Sudan, Ethiopia, Chad. Okay. Maybe I haven't been keeping track. So is Seychelles, Vanuatu. That's very interesting. Let's take a look at the top of the pack, though, where Equatorial Guinea has been having a pretty good lead. I mean, you might not think that one elevator layer is that much, but it is a lot. It is a lot, I would say. Let's take a look over our top marbles. Western Sahara is definitely one to note as being on the bottom. So is Botswana. Those are qual priority marbles in our last race. So those are just very interesting to see. Let's just take a look over here on the top, though, where we see Gabon, Ivory Coast, Kenya, and Senegal. Did Ivory Coast just jump? We need a replay of that. We need that clip slowed down 0.001x. But wow, that is interesting. Mali seems to have a comfortable second place here. Gabon, Senegal, Ivory Coast, and Kenya filling up our top 6. I wonder which one of them are going to get third. I'm putting my money on Gabon. But yeah, it is Gabon. It would be very interesting to see if any one of them overtakes. Senegal had a pretty bad bump, but didn't lead to an overtake by Ivory Coast. I don't know, that just sounds like a skill issue. And another jump, I believe now from Senegal, leads to an overtake by Ivory Coast. It just seems like slowly but surely our our top 3 are becoming safer and safer. Equatorial Guinea and Mali. Gabon, being on the far right side, is not going to be very good for staying at third, though. I will be very interested to see if they find themselves to be overtaken. That's a very interesting change of rankings, though. Kenya now being hot on the tail of Gabon. Senegal also doing a pretty good overtake. We saw, I believe, the Democratic Republic of the Congo have a good shot at it, but now they're down to 10th. Let's see, what else is here? Mali getting fastest lap, right next to Equatorial Guinea. Them being on the better area in the elevator for an overtake here. Will they do it? They will. Overtake on Equatorial Guinea. We thought they were safe. We thought they would get first, but it is just not happening. Meanwhile, we see here Senegal, again, Kenya, Tunisia, very interesting, Ivory Coast, Gabon, Namibia, and the Democratic Republic of the Congo as well. That is a very interesting tie from 4th to 9th? 8th? Yeah, I believe 8th. Mali still tied up with Equatorial Guinea, now having 3 layers of safe space. Very interesting there. This track is very fast. Equatorial Guinea taking back what was taken from them by Mali, by, you wouldn't guess it, the elevator again. You just don't see any overtakes past the elevator. The elevator is just where it's at. Mali getting denied by Equatorial Guinea. Ivory Coast cementing that lead at third as we go on to our final lap, the ending of our final lap. Kenya, Tunisia, and Gabon tied up from 4th to 6th. We could see Gabon being the one that makes it the third here, being on the far right side. Let's go down over here where we see very interesting one, Djibouti, very interesting one, Guinea. Reunion is also one to take note of. And now we already see some marbles finishing. We hear them at least. Ivory Coast, Gabon actually taking that third place from Ivory Coast, Senegal, Somalia, Kenya, Nigeria, Tunisia, Namibia, Rwanda, DRC, Mauritania, Burkina Faso, Eritrea, Lesotho, Trinidad and Tobago, Seychelles, Comoros, and Togo. And most of the marbles should be finishing already. They should be. Unless we see that someone has skipped a checkpoint is the only thing I would think would be an opportunity. Everyone should be still moving. Everyone is going through this track for sure. So let's just go here from Togo. Let's go down like we have for our previous races. Algeria, Libya, Angola, Mozambique, Egypt, Botswana. We're going down to the bottom here. Djibouti, Ethiopia, Chad. Chad with a DNF. We saw them be promising here on this race, but unfortunately, DNF secures them a not finish on our qualifiers. Very interesting stuff. You can see the leads, they are not, we saw that previously the distance between first and last was very, very distant. For our first qualifiers round, it was 2 minutes and 13 seconds. For our second qualifier round, it's less, but just under a minute is still a whole lot. But right now, it is just 21 seconds. Now, let's go over the marbles who didn't make it. Now, first to note is Chad, 17th place in our first qualifier, second, 18th place in our first qualifiers. They were consistent, but unfortunately, they DNF'd and they were not able to secure that consistent 17th, 18th place that would have secured them the spot. Now, let's talk about Ethiopia. Ethiopia, I'm honestly surprised, I would say. I don't know. I felt like they were a country that were able to do good. But I'm looking here. I mean, 43rd and second qualifiers isn't good. Maybe their first qualifiers was good. Their first qualifiers ended in... I don't see them. I don't see Ethiopia in our first race. That's... okay. Let's... hold on. Let me just go over everyone. Okay, they were here at 38th, which is just below Last Chance Qualifiers. Qualifying. What I actually want to take a look at, let's just take a look at, honestly, the top 8 and then our Qual Priority marbles to see if they actually qualified. Let's talk about first Equatorial Guinea. Equatorial Guinea, they came from, honestly, thin air. 28th place in our first qualifiers, but I didn't see them in the top 20. 41st place in our second qualifiers, definitely proving the table turning of that second qualifiers. And now just straight up winning the whole thing. I would say that would be similar to Mali, but Mali got an 11th place on our second qualifiers, which is a lot up from 31st in our first qualifiers. So there is some ground to see that they were going up exponentially. And you know, that second place, that fastest lap, it would have come eventually. Let's talk about now Gabon. Gabon here, 40th in our second race. And in our first race, they were 36th. So yeah, I would say a very decent increase, and one that didn't follow their normal fate, you know? They were going down from 36th to 40th, and now they're up to 3rd. Ivory Coast, let's just speed this up. Ivory Coast finished 17th in our first race, and in our first qualifiers, and second qualifiers, they went down to 30th, but they bounced back, 4th place finish here on our last chance qualifiers. Senegal, that is, wow, Senegal 22nd in our first qualifiers, and in our second qualifiers they were 32nd. Also another one breaking expectations here. Somalia was in a slow upwards trajectory from 27th to 21st between the two qualifier rounds, but 6th place, that is astronomical, just absolutely abnormal. And then I don't think we have time for Nigeria here, but let's take a look at Kenya. Kenya, 52nd on our first qualifiers. And then in the second qualifiers, I didn't really even see them that much. So I'm assuming they didn't get... Oh, they got 23rd place, but I don't think we saw them in the top 20 at all. Correct me if I'm wrong. 7th place, very much respectable. Let's talk about now just a select few of our qual priority marbles here, because if we just take a slow overview over these marbles, you could probably see which one of them if you remember, but I don't. So we will only take a few of them and see how that goes. Okay, so let's start with from the first qualifiers qual priority, Western Sahara. They were one of the marbles not exactly just pushed down a peg. And we saw them towards the bottom in our previous race, but they did claw themselves back up to 26th place. That is very good. That should be safe for a slot. 10 slots safe. Next one we're gonna look at is Mayotte. Mayotte is a marble who was 12th place in the first qualifiers and then just dumpster fired to 46th place. Mayotte is also a French overseas territory. Don't ask why I know that. And they are only slightly up to 41st place. That is a qual priority marble that will not be qualifying. Let's talk about next, Algeria. Well, you see them already. 5th place in our second qualifiers. In our first qualifiers, they performed... I don't see them. Okay, I may have forgotten where Algeria was. Which is not good. Nah, that's not the best. Hee 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 hee. Hee 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 hee. Ha 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 ha. Hee 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 ha. I don't know what I'm saying, honestly. Algeria, 37th place in our first qualifiers. All the way up to 5th. Almost qualifying there. but barely denied by South Africa. And now, finally, and 30th place in our Last Chance Qualifiers. That will secure them a spot and probably tier 2. Yeah. Around the top of tier 2. And now, Burkina Faso, 6th place in second qualifiers, 26th place at first qualifiers. If you say it's 16, no, it's not 16. 14th place in our Last Chance Qualifiers. Pretty good performances. That is all. I have yapped for far too long. And so, we shall end it there. Next, coming up on the African Marble Cup group stage, starts April 14th through April 19th. See you there.